Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Michelle. You hear me in the background. Something's going on with my video right now, but we will get that straightened out. Okay, if you've been with me on a while on my little real estate study guide journey here, um, this is where we're at. We just talked about in the last few videos, we talked about agency terminology, creation, and disclosure requirements. I think we got one or two videos talking about all this. So if you're confused, one that, and this applies to most states. There's only a few things that are different in Maryland. So don't get intimidated or say I'm not going to bother because this is just Maryland. It's not, okay? You can still learn with any state. We have 6 questions coming up and we need to get 70%. I have not done this yet, so I might fail. Just so you know, okay? If I fail, we'll do it again till we get it. And you will be watching. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. All right, we're going to move on. And be sure and watch these if you're totally confused on this video, okay? I hear Kaya yelling. All right, here we go. All right. An unrepresented client, I don't know, who's a party to a transaction is known as a principal. Oh, I have no idea. All right. There is no resources on these tests, by the way. All right. An unrepresented customer who's a party to a transaction is known as a principal. I don't know. I really don't. We'll probably get that wrong. All right, in Maryland it says the agency disclosure notice, okay, and this probably pertains to all states. The agency disclosure notice is required by law. Layla and Icency has had a few casual meetings with a potential client, Marcus. Marcus has told Layla the type of home and locations he's interested in. Layla has mentioned a few times that the few homes that he thinks Marcus might be interested in, although Layla hasn't said that she will continue to look for homes for Marcus. Marcus just believes she's going to do that. Which of the following statements is correct? And this happens quite often, by the way. Because Layla doesn't know if Marcus is working with another agent, she just inadvertently created a dual agency situation, which could be true. But because Layla has performed some agency tasks for Marcus, she has an express agency agreement with him. Layla's actions may have created an implied agency agreement with Marcus. Layla and Marcus have no agency agreement, either expressed or implied, until Layla begins showing Marcus homes. Okay, I think it's this one at the end here, but we'll see if it's correct. Okay, when does agency exist? And it has nothing to do with acting here. That would be implied. When the parties are in a hurry, no. I want to say when a written agreement's in place. Which of the following statements about agency disclosure notice is true? Okay, the agency disclosure notice is not a contract. Is true. That's probably true. The agency disclosure notice, once signed and dated, creates a brokerage relationship. I believe that is true. No, didn't we talk about that before? It's not a brokerage relationship. I think we talked about that on the last video. The licensee must provide a written disclosure to the party they plan to represent in the real estate action. This one's kind of tricky. All right, I'm going to leave it that way for now. We'll see if we're wrong or right. Chelsea represents the buyer of a for sale by owner townhome in Bowie. When the seller stops by Chelsea's office to deliver the Homeowners Association resale package, the two get to chatting. What does Chelsea need to make sure she tells the seller? That she is representing the buyer. May share any information the seller tells her with her buyer. Okay. I would say this one. Let's see how we did. I bet we're going to fail. Yep, we failed. It's too many wrong. Well, we only got 2 wrong, so that's not horrible. Let's see what we got wrong. Okay, I knew I was going to get this one wrong. An unrepresentative customer to a party is a principal. The agency disclosed prescribed customary law. Okay. Okay, this one we got wrong too. Okay, when a written and oral agreement is in place. Okay. All right, which of the following statements, agency disclosure, ew, we got this one right. I'm so excited. It's not a contract. Wow. All right, the Chelsea may share any information the seller tells her with the buyer client. And I don't know if we're going to have the same questions on the next one, okay? But we're going to take it again until we get it correct. And usually we can take it again. I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, here we go. Retake. All right, let's try it again. And I told you it's different questions. Okay, April and Wayne are the buyer and seller of a condo. April is represented by Steve. Wayne is represented by buyer. Name the principal. Let's see. Oh boy, this is a tricky one. Customer, April and Wayne. All right, I have no clue. It's usually the customer, and I guess they're the customer. Okay, which of the documents does not provide appropriate agency disclosure? Dual agency within a team form? Okay, I've never even heard of that one, so I'm going to click that. Okay, Paul is hoping to purchase a townhome in Locust Point in Baltimore, and Shelley is the salesperson. It's helping him fill out the blanks on a contract form before he makes an offer. All right, though Shelley doesn't have an agency agreement with Paul, she knows she'll still get paid since the seller has agreed to compensate subagents. What else does Shelley do? Okay, it's either this one or this one, but probably this one. All right, let's try it. What's the term for someone who's been given the authority to act on someone else? I want to say agent. Might be trustor. All right, your client, you successfully closed on a home. Early on the transaction, you collected an agency disclosure notice. How long do you have to keep that notice on file? Remember, I said 5 to 6 years on all your paperwork. Terry represents seller Farah, and Michael represents Troy, the buyer. Terry represents the seller Farah. Who is or are the principals in this transaction? Okay, I want to say Terry and Michael. All right, let's see how we did. I have a feeling we failed again. Yeah, still got 2 wrong. Okay, let's see what we got wrong. I got that right, amazingly enough. A listing agreement form. Okay. There must be a dual agency within a team form. Okay, I'm not aware of that, but okay. I don't really think 2 is bad, but apparently it is. We failed. Okay, Terry and Michael are the principals. Because the principal is the customer, I think, right? What's the difference between Terry and this one? April and Wayne are the buyers. Okay. They're the principal. So it's always the customer that's the principal. That's where I was getting confused. All right, let's do some screenshots in case you guys, because we might get different questions again. If you want to hold on to some of these to help you, take a picture. There you go. All right. I'm going to take it again. I said we're going to keep taking it until we get it right. Keep getting two wrong. Hopefully we'll get them all right this time. Retake. Stacy, a buyer, is working with Rebecca, a licensee in a state that doesn't recognize or permit implied agency, which I think Maryland is one of those states that doesn't permit implied agency. You got to get something in writing. Rebecca does not represent Stacy. However, she is performing ministerial duties for her, which does not mean like a minister as in like a pastor. It means helping her out, looking up houses, doing those kinds of things. Which of the following statements about this situation is correct? I would say this, because Stacy is Rebecca's client. It could be this one too. Could be either one of these. Let's see if we get it right. I don't know. All right, Terry, an agent in Maryland, is hosting the open house at a client's home. What is the process for providing the agency disclosure? I think it's this one. Okay, you just have to display it. You don't have to sit there and hand it out to every potential buyer. That would get annoying, by the way. Okay, Kavita is hosting her first open house. She puts out refreshments, some printouts of the MLS listing, a sign-in sheet where she might be able to get some buyer leads. What other documents does she need to display? Okay, Larry is assisting a buyer who makes an offer on his client's listing. If Larry is too helpful to the buyer, what might occur? Implied agency and undisclosed dual agency, because he don't have nothing in writing. LaTanya represents the seller of a property that got her an interested buyer. She's emailing the buyer. Who's representative? Some documentation based on these questions he had includes the understanding of whom real estate agents represent for him, so she can disclose her agency relationship with the seller. Is this permissible? I don't think it's permissible. I don't think she needs to send him the form. Okay. All right. I guess it's permissible. Sam represents a couple who's selling their townhome in Aberdeen. At an open house, he meets the Greenies and their agent. Mike, later that day, emails Sam requesting that Sam email him the property disclosure statement. A few days later, the Greens stop by the Sam's office to drop off their offer. And a week after that, Sam meets the Greens at the house to let them and the home inspector in. At which point in this scenario should Sam have disclosed that he represents the seller? Probably at the open house. All right, let's see if we pass. God, I hope so. Oh, my Lord, thank you, Jesus. Okay, I'm getting tired of taking this test. Okay, good. All right, so we got the first one wrong. I think this one was on. Yeah, this one was kind of confusing. So Stacy is Rebecca's customer. Okay. I was like, is it a customer? Is it a client? I guess it's a client when they sign the paperwork. And since she hasn't signed any paperwork, she is considered a customer. That'd be the difference. We talked about this in previous videos if you want to go back and review it. It's kind of tricky, but that's why one is a customer, one is a client. So they're a client if they sign legal paperwork stating that they want to work specifically with you as their agent. This was discussed in our last video that we did. We went through all this. The approved disclosure sign. I hope you're taking your screenshots because I'm not going back again. Okay, the open house notice is the same thing as what we were just talking about up here. Approved disclosure sign in a prominent place. So this is the same thing, an open house notice. So if the person is too helpful for the buyer, it might imply that they are their client. And you don't want that. You want something in writing. So don't be too over helpful. You want to be nice, but not over nice. Don't be giving up your time. Your time is valuable. Unless they're going to sign something. Before we went and read all this stuff, he should have gave his notice at the open house. Right at the beginning. At the open house. Right up here. First time you meet face to face. All right. Those who are stuck with me, thank you. Please subscribe, and we're going to continue on. We're going to continue on the Unit 2, which is going to be talking about licensee duties to clients and customers. So if you're confused on the clients and customer thing, that might be the next video to watch, okay? So they're going to review that pretty in detail. We are done with Unit 1, which is agency creation and disclosure. Thank you all for continuing to watch, or listen, I should say, whatever. I'll see you on the next video.